Hey guys, Jake here. We're at Pear Tree Ranch and I'm riding Marley. If you don't know who Marley is and who this handsome cowboy next to me is, this is Ryan Rose. We just came from Ryan's channel where I did an evaluation on what did I feel on Marley and what would I be working on if I was training this horse for a Mustang makeover challenge. And Ryan is here to share with you who is this horse, what has he been working on, where is she at, and where is she going.
Yeah, so this is a Marley. I'm competing in the Mustang Magic Competition. It's January 23rd to 25th in Fort Worth, Texas. And we're at the beginning of December right now, and I picked her up beginning of September. And I started her under saddle mid-October, so she's had 6 weeks of riding, which is about twice a day, 5 days a week, and maybe once or twice on the weekend. So it's a lot of riding for that amount of time, but it's still that amount of time with a Mustang, so she's not a finished horse by any stretch. Nonetheless, there's a lot of things they're going to ask us to do in the competition. There's 4 rounds. There's an in-hand part, which I think we got a pretty good handle on. And then you showed me a couple more things on the ground that we could be working on. In the saddle, there's like a reining pattern. There's a trail portion where you got to do some trail obstacles. I say reining pattern like it's no big deal. Reining, you could spend 2 years training a horse to do the reining pattern. So it's a simplified reining pattern, but it still has all the moves. You know, you still have turn around, stop, roll back, lead change. You still got to do all the things. And then there's a compulsory on the rail, which counts towards the freestyle if you make it to the top 10. And so what I'm trying to do is get really good, just have a really trained horse when I get there that is kind of ready for anything, because it's a bit vague on exactly what you have to do. I don't know exactly the obstacles or the order of the moves. And so I'm really just trying to cover my bases, and I am excited to get your thoughts on her and just to have somebody look at it from the outside looking in. I think it's maybe more obvious what's working and what's not working, where when you're in the middle of doing it all the time, it's like, oh, I worked on that 3 weeks ago, but I haven't looked at it since, it's like, so I'm just excited to get your thoughts on her.
Awesome. Well, if you guys don't know, Ryan Rose is, if you're not already the biggest horse channel on YouTube, you're going to be. And so if for some weird reason you guys are not, obviously go like and subscribe and follow Ryan everywhere you can. He's got so much great content all over. And we do so many things the same, but different. And that's what makes us great complements to each other. We have been teaching clinics together for over 10 years, all across the country. And it's always my favorite events to do stuff, together and with Ryan, because of the way we can complement each other.
Yeah, I would say we have like really similar outcomes of what we want in the finished product, but we have a little different techniques and how we would get there, and then everybody's got a different feel. And so I'm actually even just excited seeing her accept you. It's like a few weeks ago that would have been a big ask, so it's exciting to just see that we're even hauling her to a new place and having a new person that she right away liked you.
Took right to it and didn't take offense.
Yeah,
agreed. All right, well, I'm going to start getting to work. Let you just relax and enjoy the show.
Sounds good to me.
A big part of what we kind of found in our evaluation was working on this forward and relaxed through the nose and the neck, okay? And that's a big part of my training program, is making sure that we have that forward and down, okay? Forward and down look the same with the nose and the neck. And it also builds a lot of relaxation into what we're doing. So now, as we're working, we worked on, could I lift? Okay, we started riding with a stick so that I didn't do too much bumping and going with my legs. And as I tap, now we're starting to get where she's leading with that nose and neck. There we go. And that starts to open up into the shoulders where she starts to reach more and more. Okay, and so I'll just start. I'm going to work on this a little bit more. In the evaluation, we kind of found it, and I got it started, which you can kind of see. But that evaluation was in the round pen, where there's a little bit less room to kind of work and go, versus out here, I can start to open her up a little bit. There we go. Now you can see she tells me that she doesn't love that I'm tapping her with this stick by how she shushes her tail. Okay, and she's allowed to not love it, but I'm not gonna release till she starts finding her way to relax to that tapping. I'm not tapping her hard, just enough that she can feel me. There we go. And once she starts getting a little bit forward where I don't have to tap as much, I'm gonna start working, because there I got nose and neck forward. This shoulder is leading in here. And it's pushing on my inside leg a little bit. And so I might switch my stick to support the leg. And there's a saying, inside leg to outside rein. One of the best trainers that train bridleless horses and horses that go around on a really nice loose rein is Ryan Rose, okay? So she feels great there. She's ready to stay off of that outside leg and come around. Something him and I were just talking about right before we hit the go button on the camera was that, you know, it's really hard with this because, you know, we can't take 10 years to train a perfect dressage horse or reining horse. You got a short amount of time that sometimes it's like just enough to have it work and go, okay? And so the fact that she's ready to come in and she's not letting that outside leg touch her at all, and not in a scared way, but she's really happy to be turning in with those shoulders on this circle. I want to be able to shape her in the ribs and in the neck a little more to help aid in this relaxation and flexion through the whole body off of this inside leg. There. So I'll just kind of keep lightly picking up here. I'm doing a little tap tap, a little bit with the leg and the spur, but mostly with the stick here to support there. Till she stands up a little bit more there in the shoulder. And that blowout just tells you that I got the shoulder to stand up and the flexion started to shift into the ribs. There. 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 There we go. So now it's a bit quicker to when I touch that rein and touch the inside leg that she's dropping that head. Okay? That way, if I'm riding through, say, a course, I can just do a little bump, bump with that inside leg, and it just shifted her out, and it lowered the head at the same time. And my legs are supporting what my hands are doing versus me just pulling on her, good girl, harder with my hands to put that shape there. Okay. Again, in the evaluation video over on Ryan's channel, we just kind of pointed out that that's there. So now the idea here is I'm just going to work a little more into it and see if we can't add a little bit to support what awesome stuff Ryan's already done. So like here, I got her set up to go to the, good girl, you're a good horse, to the right, and it's the same feel that it was going the other way. So this leg, she's not letting that there, and again, in a good way, but I just want to make sure that I can shape her that little bit. This side's a little bit easier than the other side was with that inside leg, and that just helps drop that head and neck. Good girl. There we go. There we go. See, Ryan's already got her really soft in her face where she tucks. That's the up and back look. So we talk about 8 directions. Okay. But I also, there's up and back, and when I get a good up, usually I can release to a good down, and with the nose and neck forward and down look the same. There. And I'm just doing little flirts with the inside leg. There we go. 3, 2, 1, sit down. You're a good mare. You can see how great that sit down and stop. Okay, so she's not needing any support from my hands, which I'm not surprised that she has a great stop. Now, I'm going to fiddle. We did this in the evaluation video. Ryan asked me to check on her turnaround. And the big thing was still the same idea that forward was the one thing holding her back, that the easier she goes forward, the more then I can start to shape that into more left, and then more left, and then more left. And I'm just using my stick here to support ribs and hip to step that right hind towards that left front. I could hear her interfere with that right front leg kicking the left. Like, see there, the hip stepped out. So I'm just going to say, hey, no, right hind to the left front, not right hind out. There. I just caught her softly with my hands to just try to bring her back to me. So not running away. There. There we go. There we go. If I lose the nose and neck, I'm going to just take a little more feel by lifting up, not pulling back, till she wants to stretch through that nose and neck and relax the nose and neck into the turn. There we go. There we go. There's 3 big steps. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Once I go from 1, usually the next big marker is 3 steps, and when I can do combinations of 3s, pretty quick that turns into 360s. Okay? Let's go the other way. There. That is beautiful. What a mare. What a good horse you are. There, see, and this side is a little bit easier to step the left hind to the right front. So that just starts to tell that maybe she likes the right lead a little bit better in the canter. There we go. 1, 2, 3 with the left front stepping around there, where we had a lot less motion in the right hind leg. That was much easier, so I would just go back to the left, make sure that starts to catch up. And when she feels confident about the boundary that my right leg and the stick supporting it does to keep the right hind to the left front, which you're really starting to see there, we go, big step, there's those 3 big steps. Then I'm gonna start seeing if I can't use my rhythm and timing. I talk about hula hips to go chum 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 and hustle those front feet underneath me, and that she gets in a bit more rhythm and flow. If you start that too soon, you're hurrying them in the turn, which is like the worst thing that we can do in a turnaround, is hurrying them in the turn. Okay, so I just want to, it's not that I'm hurrying her, it's just kind of asking, can you feel me shift? So my right leg comes off, my left leg comes on, right leg off, left leg on, right leg off, left leg on, right leg off, left leg on. Okay, and that as I shuffle that around there, if I can just get the timing where she's feeling me and realizing what I'm doing and going with my flow, if I just do the flow a little bit faster, super, super mare. You're a good horse. She might find a little bit of room, okay, gas pedal, where she just gets a little bit livelier. And I would just approach and retreat that, like any man ever with a leaf blower, okay, or a chainsaw, okay. How can I vroom, vroom, vroom it? Now notice there was 3 vrooms, and I talked about how I was kind of working on getting 3 steps. So if I could go, ready, steady, vroom, 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 da 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 dum. And I'm just gonna allow her out forward, then I'd start to catch her, ready, vroom, 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 da 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 da. There we go. So I can start to hustle those feet in the littlest bit, and as long as I keep her confident to hear that this outside boundary keeps that leg driving that way, we'll have more engagement, and that gets really simple to add more polish and shine to what we're doing. And as this starts to soften, I can just lift and shape, and it's doing less draw her and pull her around the turn. There we go. Where she starts to feel me sit down and that leg comes and she draw underneath me and swing that. And again, I'm just doing little blips of the 3 steps. I don't want to do too much on this because, like Ryan said, we're each going to have our own feel there, but like I'm like, yeah, in the background, then he can take that idea and feel as he progresses. Like he said, we're all going to do things a little bit different here and how we present our feel. The big thing we're looking for this horse is that the horse wins and understands. So vroom, 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 da 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 dum. Ready? Vroom, 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 da 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 da. Good, thank you. Okay, and I'm just going to flirt with this a little bit more till I can start to feel her draw more back and over. So now I'm going to start to fix this hand here. Then this hand is just going to help shape that nose and neck. This keeps her head from pulling that way as I do it. Okay, so this hand releases her forward. It starts to set her weight back. Then this supports that leg. And I just, there she goes, there she goes, there she goes. 3 little steps. That way the reins don't mean the W word in the turn. It just shapes and shifts her weight back. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Super. And she just starts to really feel underneath me, and this takes time, but we really start to feel those hind legs. And so I feel her, everything's going that way versus the front end goes that way and the hip falls out and gets sloppy and loose here. Okay, all right. We like the progress on the stretching through the nose and the neck. We're seeing lots of that. When I touch the reins, we fiddled with the turnaround a little bit more and progressed that. So now I didn't canter her in the round pen. One of the things that we talked about is that's going to be on the pattern is a lead change. And so I want to canter first, and then I'm going to start fiddling with what are some of the pieces that I play with to help my lead changes. Good girl. Good. You're a good horse. There she goes. Yes, a good horse. Now, I've watched Ryan Rider, but obviously I've never touched this horse before today. And so I'm gonna kind of softly feel my way into this canter, and I'm gonna do a little bit less, pick her up into the canter. I'm gonna try to stretch her into the canter like I'm working on to make sure that she leads with a long neck. Now, I cluck for a canter, but Ryan does kiss. The nice thing is that we know each other well there, and if you watched the evaluation video, you would have seen I adjusted to fit what the horse knows. So I'm gonna go tap, 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 tap. There. Just to get her and me at a canter where we can feel each other. And then because we're starting to stay forward, I'm gonna start to hook my butt and roll and kind of push that forward and then support here to say, let's stay up there. Okay, again. Good. She felt it, but she didn't make the change of gears. So I'm gonna just bring it back. I don't wanna run her into the canter. That's not helpful for Ryan. Okay, but if I can put this together here. Dum 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 da da dum da da dum 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 da da dum da da dum dum da da dum da da dum dum dum. Once we're going, you're a good girl. I'm gonna start massaging that inside leg. If I feel like I'm sticking my spur into her, I'm gonna just use the stick a little bit. She was just telling me about a little bit of canter sideways work that Ryan's been playing with, which is nice. Now, I'm tapping on the inside, and that's because I don't know her. I want to feel and have her see this hand here. Good. Let's just switch ways. Maintain gait comes before maintain direction and the responsibilities of the horse. So I don't need to worry about what direction we're going as much as just let's get back to the canter and get some rhythm and flow there. As I start working towards a lead change, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Gotta have that stretch come together. There it goes. There. Now we get a little more freedom in the shoulder once that nose and neck start to stretch, and she'll open up a little better. There. And I'm just taking a feel, drawing. There we go. Good. Super. All right. I'm going to go back to the right. And I'm going to switch and put the stick on the outside. Oh, I did cluck, cluck, not kiss, kiss. she still figured it out. So now she's pushing into the lead with the neck and the shoulder. So I'm just going to pick that up. And nose, neck, shoulder, the ribs and hip will follow. So if I can get her shoulders to, there we go. There we go. There we go. Good. P.S. we were cantering. So now I'm going to pick this up because she's pushing in that shoulder. And instead of doing it at speed, I'm going to just slow down and say, excuse me, sister. Just let's scooch that out. Try again. Thank you. You're so good. I know. So nose, neck, shoulder. It's okay. You're doing great. Thank you. Thank you. And I can just tap at the shoulder. We're not going out the gate. Now, I'm just going to take this and say, okay, good. Those are cows. You don't have to be bothered. You can look if you want to look. So she shies and spooks away. I'm just going to go, hey, that's fine. However, I'd rather you do this. Stop and look. And then, by the way, we were cantering over here. Now we're on a right lead. And I would just take the gas off. Sit down. Notice I put my thumbs here to not pull. Just set my hands. And give her a chance to go, huh. And by not getting in a fight and using this, pulling harder here using my spurs, just using the stick to keep setting it up where the release is forward through the nose and neck, where I've pointed it, and just allowing her to kind of canter, not put too many boundaries. She takes the outside lead. I go, that's fine. Tap, tap on this hip can start to mean right lead, there. Now, point her nose and neck. Tap, tap on this hip can mean left lead. And I just wait. I just wait. I just wait till she goes. There. By the way, step off my leg. There. Good mare. There. So I can also spend a little bit of time. I know it works because I've seen Ryan do it. Right now we're kind of messing with her mind. Okay, her mind is wanting to just go out the gate. She's like, man, I don't really know if I know you. You've never fed me enough. Uncle Ryan feeds me that good feed. There. So instead of fighting with her, I just go, yeah, you're right. By the way, the stick is in your way. She goes, dang it. By the way, this is in your way. Dang it. And then I just kind of release her instead of saying, you will do what I say. There. And just keep riding her towards there, her nose. Now all of a sudden, she feels me point over there, and I just say, good girl. Now can she feel me point over here? And if I tap, there, look, she drove left hind to right front. That's the same as taking a right lead. So now if I point her nose over there, tap here, there, look, see, oh, look at that. Now, instead of continuing on setting up any lead change and fussing with that, she just changed. Instead of running out the gate, she goes, I'll do a soft little canter for you, okay. And I could just rub her and say, thank you. That was so thoughtful of you. What a nice horse you are. Okay, and then look, all that softness that Ryan's put in there, still there. All right, she's not untrained. She just doesn't know me. And that little bit that I fiddled with, nose, neck, look, that's still there. Okay. Good. Now, to kind of cool it down, I'll talk about another way that I'll set up for lead changes. That's a way that when they're kind of imbalanced and they're inexperienced, and if I can just ride and guide them around soft and just kind of tap, tap, and tap, tap, kind of magically you can put a change in there and they just kind of learn that it's easy to change leads and do, okay? The other way that I'll do it is through lateral work. So if I ride the right hind to the left front with the nose to the right, that's a leg yield, okay? Hashtag shameless plug. Got a whole series over on Patreon about lateral work. There, where we break down all these moves I'm about to do a quickie talk about. Now, if I ride her in that position, but I ride her straight down this line, that's shoulders right. There, and it all works, okay? I'm not surprised, Ryan does great work. Now, that all is in, yes, we can stop and stand still, that's fine. You're a good horse. That all works the inside leg to the outside rein, okay? That's where I wasn't doing a lot on the outside rein, and even when she wanted to go, she thought out the gate was a better option than kind of cruising around and cantering with me. I just used the stick to kind of wait until her mind, her nose and neck went, and allowed her body to follow it, okay? But now that we kind of got things put back together, I'll need to start catching her with the outside rein. This rein will be fixed. This rein will shorten her. There, see it? This left hand will just go bloop. That dropped her head and neck, or can compress her neck. Now I'm gonna hold the shoulders here and ride the haunches in, okay? And it's right there. She already, one, I've seen her do it with Ryan. Two, she just showed us down the fence. So I hold the shoulder, ride the hip in, okay? That works. If I can do that haunches in, then I probably have a shot at starting to flirt with half pass. Half pass is gonna be, so we've been doing everything bent to the right. Half pass will be nose and neck to the right bent. I'm in this, yeah, hold on. There, and then ride her laterally that way. Now, notice she pushes this shoulder. There. I'll need to stand that up either with my stick or with my inside leg doing rhythm there. There. That's, again, the haunches in helps that. There. Okay? So we have a baby blip, of her and me anyway. Okay? I know Ryan can do a little bit more with her than me. There's more relationship and understanding there. My feel's a little bit different. So she's like, what? Huh? Okay, and then very quickly she goes, oh, I know what you mean, right? So we have these little blips coming. I would go, let's start with, so I'm on a right lead, half pass right, holding the shoulders, there we go, half pass right, change the flexion, now it's left leg yield, then I'm gonna hold the shoulders, push the hip, bloop, okay, bloop. And that's my lead change. And all the pieces there work because Ryan's been doing that. And I would just build that up to where I need to be able to, at a canter, go, easy mama, there, half pass left, you're doing great, you're doing great, you're doing great. Change the nose and neck. That changes it to leg yield, right leg yield, which pushes her to the left. Then hold the shoulders, haunches right, bloop, and there was my lead change to a right lead, okay? And I would just keep building that up to where I can do all those pieces at a walk, a trot, and a canter. Now, she's getting hot and sweaty and tired, and she gets rode a couple of times a day shortly to keep everything going so we don't wear her out. So I'm kind of getting to the end where I would want to keep pushing on the horse and not overdo anything. Okay, that keeps her happy. And the biggest thing is that we maintained that stretch through the nose and neck, that where I can touch that I can lower her head, get her coming through that neck, okay, and have that into my forward, and then that's going to continue to tell through any maneuvers I want to do, where is she at, right? As soon as she started thinking out the gate, the head and neck came up, went in the air, and she started taking her shoulders away from me, okay? And I just was patient with the nose and neck where I wanted it to go till she followed with the shoulders, and the ribs and hip came with. All right, so we're just gonna summarize a little bit of what we did in the evaluation and then into this kind of more training versus just evaluating session. In the evaluation video that was over on Ryan's channel, We went through quickly the bare minimum groundwork, which everything worked great. I was more than happy to saddle this horse and ride this horse. We pointed out a few things about getting her to, good girl, stretch through her nose and neck on some of those exercises, and where in the horse burpees without the saddle, we could get her a little softer and she'll get a little more flexion in the neck, and that'll start to stand up the shoulders a little bit more. Not crucial thing, but long term, if you can kind of sneak that stuff in there, it's really helpful. Then I hopped on a road, and the big thing that we found is if I could get her to lead down and forward more with her nose and neck off the reins, she was going to soften up through the shoulders and have that hip follow a little more. That'll help her relax into the forward more, and it just is a tell of that her mind is going where I've asked it to go, versus we saw when I rode out here, the head comes up and she braces and kind of leaves through the shoulder. Her mind has left the chat. Okay, and so a great way to see that it stays in the game is if I can relax her nose and neck, not just tuck her flexion, but then when I release it, have her take it down and forward, that really helps, there we go, build more relaxation and throughness. And then Ryan asked me to do look at the turnaround, and we fiddled with that. Well, then we just took all of that, came out here, and very quickly we saw walk and trot worked really great. She really stretched into it. I had a little bit that we flirted with at the canter, and then we fiddled with the turnaround, and we started to see how with that throughness in there, and we could start to hustle the shoulder around while keeping the hind leg driving to the opposite diagonal front. That very quickly she started to sit down on her butt nicely. Ryan already had that kind of put in there, but she really drove a little bit more, and we had a little bit of quickness to that turnaround.
Yeah, and that's been hard for her to stay correct and get her front around. So it was nice to see.
Yep.
So nice turns in there.
Put together. Okay. And then we took that and we started fiddling with more canter and the idea of how different ways we could kind of sneak a lead change in there by just kind of tapping them on the butt here and tapping them on the butt here and getting them to just take us somewhere and go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you were building an association of when you tap on the outside hip to take the opposite lead.
Yes, and so that way I showed in the beginning, I did the inside so she could see it.
In order to be able to use that, you're setting up, asking for the lead change, and instead of putting your leg on her real hard, you could start tapping.
Yes.
And she already understands that could mean that lead.
Exactly.
I like that because I know from the competitions you did for Road to the Summit that with pretty short amount of time you're able to put some lead changes on the horses without having a million different yields and years of training to develop. Lead changes are one of the hardest maneuvers to teach. And so I think that'll be very helpful for me, because I know the forward is hard for her. It would be very easy for her to break gait through the lead change.
Yeah.
But if I kind of set her up, and then I can have that association of when I tap here and she's on a right lead, that means the left lead. I could see where that can go.
And we saw her get bothered, and she was just thinking out the gate. She's like, I don't know that I love this. It's kind of, I'm getting hot, I'm getting sweaty, I'm getting tired, and I don't really know you. But very quickly she went, this isn't so bad, because I didn't fight. That when I just tap, she went, wait a minute, I know what to do. And she just loped a soft little quiet circle. Was like, there you go, simple, easy peasy. And she kind of stopped feeling bad that I was tapping her, realized that it just meant something. I know, you're being a good girl. Okay, rub your booty a lot with it. It's there.
And she's a sensitive horse, but it's also bracy, where she'll want to stop and not move forward. I mean, I haven't really talked about it a ton, but she's been a very challenging horse.
Yeah, you've worked really hard on.
Yeah, it's just I've put a lot of work in to get her to this point, because it's not an easy thing. And also I know that with this, she's very sensitive to this. Yeah. And it's like you can just whisper that to her, and she can kick out at it, and that's her kind of go-to.
And it was just
with that
mostly tapping the hair. I just really lightly tap. I never, even set it into her skin, but just a bunch of times repetition. So she started to realize, oh, it really isn't that offensive.
Yep. So you have this combination of a sensitive horse that can be defensive very easily, which leads to the kicking out, but yet, even though she's sensitive, it doesn't translate into forward. So it was actually kind of good to see her get forward there at the canter. You don't want to go too far with that, but she has to be able to go forward through that change. A lead change has to happen during the canter. She can't break gait, otherwise it's a simple change. And so I got some kind of decisions to make, and I'll play with it a bit for the next couple weeks and see if I think it's possible to get it done. And it to me, it kind of looks like it could be there if it's set up right.
Yeah, I think so. And the yields are there. Now it's just a matter of, I know you can do a little more with her than what I can do. She knows you, your feel's there, you've put all these hours in. She was a little bit like, I don't really know you enough to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the yields were there. She let me set her up in the yielding sequence that I would do, which is going to be similar to what I've seen you teach in the lead change. So I think as you continue to work on those yields and put the pieces together, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And you have this other thing to kind of fiddle with. You almost have two ways to train the change that, I'm pretty confident you get it done.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you very much for checking her out for me.
Thank you. Let me hand you back your horse, and we'll get her taken care of to go home.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Do the liking, subscribing, comment down below. What did you learn from the session? And make sure you're following along with Ryan in this journey. I'll be in Texas to go watch him compete and be there and see how great him and Marley do. So we appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, Ryan and Marley, and we'll see you next time.